The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show. It's time to give a shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mian Mohsen Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, then you'll love Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia. Available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. It takes place in 4 countries with 2 strangers and 1 target where truth is an illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available in paperback and ebook on Amazon. Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia has garnered great reviews and is even loved by Hollywood celebrities including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today. Order Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia, now available at Amazon.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartradio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, time to give a shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mian Mohsen Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia. Available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, and 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love be the first to go missing. It's available on paperback and ebook on Amazon. Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved by Hollywood celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today before it goes missing by Mian Mohsen Zia, available on Amazon. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, and Apple. Coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn. Heard worldwide on Geo7, Radio Public, Himalaya, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel, and follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today and show your support for the Mike Wagner Show. Just go to MikeWagnerShow.com and click on Donate and Sponsor. And also, you can also donate as well, too, on PayPal at paypal.com/Mike Wagner Voiceover. Anchor FM/support. You can check out the merchandise store at Amazon.com/The Mike Wagner Show. And for some cool books and really neat treats, you can go to Amazon.com/Mian Mohsen Zia and order today. We're here with a terrific lady who brings more than 30 years experience of book, newspaper, magazine, radio, and business speaking. She's a novelist, public speaker, and professional corporate writer. And she's the editor of The Book Lover's Haven, host of the Literary Radio Show, also Off the Shelf Books Talk Radio, and she's been listed in various entertainment and business industries, and she's also author of many great books like Portia, Long Walk Up, Spiral, Love Has Many Faces, Rosetta's Great Hope, and a lot more. And she's been featured on quite a number of book platforms on Amazon, Crush City, eBookit, Google Books, and a lot more. And she's basically just all over the place, and she'll be glad to talk about the books, talk about her career, and she's just an amazing lady. Live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studios in beautiful Chattanooga, Tennessee, the very, very talented, multi-talented author, novelist, public speaker, and professional corporate writer, Denise Turney. Denise, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thank you, Mike. I'm listening to your introduction. You have so much energy. I love your energy right off the gate. As soon as you came out, your energy was like, ooh, it popped up. So thank you, and happy to be here to engage with you and with your listeners, and look forward to how the show unfolds and sharing a lot of info about the books and other things that could interest and benefit the listeners of the Mike Wagner Show.
Well, that's a really good one too, Denise. I don't know if I could top that one, but and so you've been a novelist, publicist, and public speaker, professional corporate writer for over 30 years or so. A book, newspaper, magazine, radio, and business speaking, writing to a project. You're also the editor of Book Lovers Haven, host of the literary radio show Off the Shelf's Book Talk Radio, and listed in various entertainment and business directories. And you also have a number of books like Portia, Long Walk Up, Spiral, Love Has Many Faces, Rosetta's Great Hope, and a lot more. And before we get into all that, tell us how you first got started, Denise.
I actually got started as a writer when I was 10 years old, and I love to read. I was an avid book reader, and I tell people if they've ever seen, and I forget the title of the movie. Danny DeVito was in it. It was a comedy, and it was hilarious. He was like this really broke used car salesman, and he had a daughter, and they wondered was she their real daughter, because she was honest and she loved to read. And anyway, her name was Matilda, and I think that might have been the name of the movie. And she had a teacher who took an interest in it. That she read so many books. It's like she would just have like a wagon full of books. Well, I tell people I was like Matilda. I read 30 to 50 books a week when I was a kid. I just loved to read. What do you want for Christmas? Books. What do you want for your birthday? Books. I just loved to. So when I was 10 years old, my sister comes running home, and she was maybe 7 at the time, 7 or 8, and she says, "Look what I found in the library." And I couldn't hardly believe it. She found a book in the library that I hadn't seen yet, but it's a book of poetry by Gwendolyn Brooks. And after all the reading, and this is why I tell how much I read before I tell this part of it. After reading all those books, I read this book, and it had an effect on me that no other book I had ever read had. And so the characters came alive, and I started thinking, oh, that reminds me of my aunt, or that reminds me of a neighbor, or, I had just this feeling of this story. These characters were alive in this book. And again, a book of poetry by Gwendolyn Brooks. And when I sat down and put that book down and finished that book, a feeling came over me I cannot describe. And I went, oh, my God, I'm a writer. And I started writing at 10. I didn't know what to write. I wrote poems, I wrote short stories, I wrote songs, I wrote plays. And then when I was 12, I started on my first novel, and I didn't finish it till I think I was about 18. It was
wow.
A little over 400 pages, but all that time I'm writing. I'm writing plays. I'm writing before I finish even my first novel. But that's how I got started, and now I've written 3 nonfiction books, but mainly I do fiction, and I've probably written well over 20 books, but published to date I have just hit the publish button on my first young adult novel, and the title I changed it, rosettathetaletnshowqueen. She is so spunky. My favorite character when I was a kid was Pippi Longstocking.
Oh yes, that's a classic.
Oh, I love Pippi oh my goodness, I love Pippi Longstocking. And Rosetta's kind of like Pippi. She's a little bit like Pippi Longstocking. Pippi, her father traveled a lot, and her mother passed away. Rosetta had her mother. She lives with her mother and father, and the story is set in Cincinnati, Ohio. But her personality, her spunkiness, her courage, her confidence is like Pippi. So she's. This is my first book series. and she's just really kicking it off right out of the gate. So she does her talent show. But that's the only young adult juvenile fiction that right now I plan to write, but mainly continue to write adult novels. And I absolutely love to write and love hearing from readers.
It sounds like you got a great talent for writing. And what was that one precise moment that influenced you into what you're doing? So think about it. You started reading at 10, you began writing at 10, and you worked on your first novel at 12. What was that one precise moment that simply said to you, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life?
That experience when I put that book down, it's hard for me. I always call it my burning bush experience. Mm-hmm. The feeling that came over me, I had never ever in my life. It was like I was enveloped in something. I can't even explain it to a person, but it was just so unusual, this feeling. And it's just like this awareness, this revelation come up through me. And so that's when I just started writing. And I've done other things. I've other than novel writing, I've done freelance writing. That's where the corporate writing comes in for major corporations. I've done ghost writing. I've done quite a bit of that. And so I've done other types of writing. I've done, of course, just marketing books, blogging, and radio ads. I've done ads, press releases, etc. But it's the novel writing that I really, really love the most. I also enjoy public speaking. I never thought I would do that ever. Emory University, Spelman College, different schools, Merrill Lynch. I never thought I would ever be speaking at these types of places. But it's novel writing. That is my absolute passion.
and it sounds amazing as well, too. And also, who are some of your favorite authors and writers growing up?
Well, and I can't remember her name, but the author of Pippi Longstocking, that is my all-time favorite childhood book series. I used to read Nancy Drew, and I'm aging myself, and the Hardy Boys.
Oh,
but
yes.
I love Pippi Longstocking leaps and bounds was the most. And then when I read Mildred Taylor's Rule of Thunder, Hear My Cry, that book had a great impact on me as well. Some of my other favorite writers, Jamaica Cade, J. California Cooper, of course, Gwendolyn Brooks. I've enjoyed Maya Angelou's work. Joyce Carol Oates, she is just a masterful writer. And John Irving's A Prayer for Owen Meany, I don't know if you ever read it. They made a movie out of that book. He also wrote, was it Hotel New Hampshire? Or he wrote another New York Times bestseller, but A Prayer for Owen Meany might be my favorite adult novel. These are just authors who are just masterful crafts. I mean, they're just masterful writers. James Baldwin, Sonny's Blues is the most powerful short story to date I've read. But I'm in amazement when I see an author that's so masterful. I've read a lot of good stories, but some writers are just like a Michelangelo with their writing. They're just on this level that it's like, wow. So, but those are some of my favorites.
Wow, that is so amazing. And we'll also talk about some of the programs you've been on as well, too, and also some of your books. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, time to give a shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mia Mosensia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Mosensia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. It takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, and 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love be the first to go missing. It's available on paperback and ebook on Amazon. Missing by Me and Most and Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Hollywood celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today before it goes missing by Me and Most and Zia, available on Amazon. Also, The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, and Apple. Coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn. Heard worldwide on Geo7, Radio Public, Himalaya, and more. Take The Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. And follow The Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And don't forget to support The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com/support, as well as Anchor FM, PayPal, and more. Also, check out the cool merchandise section at amazon.com/The Mike Wagner Show and Me Emotions here for some great books and some great gift ideas. We're here with author Denise Turney here on The Mike Wagner Show. She's also a novelist, public speaker, professional corporate business writer, and has 30 years experience in book, newspaper, magazine, radio, and business speaking, writing to a project. And before we get to talk about your books, Denise, like Awaken Blessing of Inner Love, Rosetta, the Talent Show Queen, we cover that, maybe a bit more, Love Pour Over Me, and also Get Us Glory, Gregory the Lion-Hearted, and more, and just a lot of amazing books. And you also have... you're editor of Book Lovers Haven and host of the literary radio show Off the Shelf Books Talk Radio, and talk about the Book Lovers Haven, how I got started, along with your radio show.
Well, thank you, first of all. The Book Lovers Haven got started. Well, my web designer, she had actually, I'm going back, gotta be Book Lovers Haven over 15 years. She came out to me, and we were just looking at different ways to start to pull in traffic, other than through metadata with the keywords, and which you're supposed to update once every 30 days. And websites, I still encourage every writer or any artist to have a website, but my website now pulls in traffic through my blog, and I get hundreds of visitors a day.
Nice.
But that's through my blog. If I didn't have a blog, I don't know if I'd even get 100 visitors a day. So the websites today don't pull as much traffic off the search engines. That's been my experience as they used to. You have to have video and blogs and a whole lot of other content out there to pull in traffic. But back here, before I started the Book Lovers Haven, your website alone could pull in a lot of traffic just with the right metadata. But anyway, so she said, well, to get more traffic, why don't you create a newsletter? And I was thinking, nah, you know what, I just don't see where that would really tie in and get me a lot of traction as far as people who would be interested in my books and actually purchase the books. Some people will come by and visit your website. They'll do all kinds of things, but they will never make a purchase from you, like, ever. And they might love the book cover and different things, but they're just never going to buy it. I want to pull in the right traffic. The people who come in, they're likely to read it and actually click that order button. So I said, nah, I don't really think so. But anyway, I forget exactly what happened. I'm a student. I'm a student for life. So I'm constantly looking out here searching for different ways to get in more traffic. And somehow or another, I start hearing about newsletters. You create a newsletter. And today I really encourage people, if you have any listeners who are small business owners, and I know you have one of your sponsors who's an author, is to have a newsletter for this reason. And if you don't do a newsletter, have your own mailing list, whether it's a hard copy mailing list where you send people hard copy postcards, holiday greetings, or a digital mailing list, because we all rely so much on social media. But if they shut you down or shut you off of social media, or just get rid of social media, a platform, you just lost access to all those people. But if you have your own mailing list, then you don't need really the social media, and you can still keep in touch with people. So I started my newsletter, and I started my first distribution list. I usually use Excel, and I said, oh my God, it's taking forever to I get new people when I put them on, and old people take them off. And so then now I use Constant Contact, and all that's automated. But that's when I started it. I said, let me try it and see what it does. So when in the Book Lovers Haven, I don't feature myself. I do like there's a letter from the editor that I kick it off with. And then I feature another artist. I'll feature another author or somebody who's working in the book industry. That they're the ones who get the feature interview. And I've always done that in the book lovers Haven. So you're not going to get a whole bunch of stuff about my books in there. You'll hear about maybe it's some author you never heard about before via feature interview. So that's what I do. And then I also use it to like send out holiday greetings just to keep that relationship going with the subscribers. And then the Off the Shelf Books Talk Radio. This story is another one. So the first one my website designer suggests, start a newsletter, and I'm thinking, nah. Then finally I did it, and she's like, I told you. the Off the Shelf, Portia came out, and it's an inspirational story about a successful defense attorney in Chicago who uses her faith in God and her family. And she has this wonderful man she's just met. She's come out of a bad relationship. She meets this wonderful man. And no sooner does she come into this good relationship, she discovers she has breast cancer. So it's a story about faith, family, and love to help her deal with this. So and Portia took off. I mean, I had flyers. I was doing radio all over the country, everything to really promote Portia. So in my doing that, I used to go through Gebby Press, which Gebby Press is going out of print after 50 years. But I would go through Gebby Press and get the radio stations and interview. So one radio station manager I reached out to, he said, "Why don't you just start your own show?"
That's a good idea, and here you are.
This before podcasts took off. I'm going back over 15 years. This is well before the podcast took off. And so I started with him on Rainbow Soul. He played the smoothest jazz. And so I started over there, and I'm thinking, the radio show, I thought I couldn't do it. Before you do something, sometimes you think, I can't do that. So he said, just try it. He said, it's easy. And that's when I started Off the Shelf. And then I'll have guests, whether I've had movie producers, I've had songwriters, I've had playwrights, I've had New York Times best-selling authors, people just starting out in their careers, small business owners who've written a book have been on Off the Shelf. I'm telling you, I look up sometimes to see the names of some people who've been on that show. I see them on TV or on some big, on something on the internet there, because they're like a New York Times bestselling author, and I'm like, oh my God, come here. So that's how I got that started. I learned something from every single guest. Mm-hmm. Every guest.
Oh my gosh, and that's amazing as well too. And who are some of the guests you had on that end up, making a big time, like on national TV, or say like global and everything else? Maybe some of the nobles that you're proud to say, I've had him on, have her on. It's like you gotta be like really amazed by this.
Now I know, like between the newsletter and Off the Shelf, Awi Akta, she's a Native American writer. She and actually I still have her book on Selu on my bookshelf, and I can't remember even how I met her, but she was a Grammy Award nominee, and I think that was for spoken word. Tracy Price Thompson, she's a Essence and a New York Times best-selling author. I could go with different authors. Zane, and I don't know if she was on Off the Shelf, but in the Book Lovers Haven, she's a several times New York Times best-selling author, and then some of the writers who I came up with. Carl Weber, he has a TV show.
Oh my gosh!
On BET, and then there's another author, and his name escapes me, but he had a show on CNN. But I see him, and another author I interviewed. She was a professional sports, like a physician. If you got injured. And she has one of the highest regional out west radio shows. But I'm telling you, I'm just like, oh my gosh. And the last lady who was on last week had been on TED Talks and Book TV, and she was on Off Off the Shelf last week. So a lot of guests, I look up and I'm like, oh my
God. now, where can we find Off the Shelf's book, Talk Radio at, and where can we find the Book Lovers Haven at?
You can get to any of them. I give people my central location, which is my website, and that's Chistell, CHISTELL.com. Again, that's CHISTELL.com. And if you just click Denise Turney, Off the Shelf, it should come up at the very top in a search engine.
Okay. Okay, well, that sounds really good, and we'll definitely look up that. We'll also talk about your books in just 1 minute. You listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Also brought to you by our official sponsor, The Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mia Moschenzia of Missing. You can check it out on Amazon, on paperback and ebook. We'll be back with novelist, public speaker, and professional corporate writer Denise Turney after this timeout.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention The Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real-life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. It talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mia Moschenzia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamoschenzia.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on over 30 podcast platforms, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, Apple, and more. Coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn, where The Mike Wagner Show interviews great guests, cool conversation, lots of laughs, coffee, and more. Take The Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device, subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel, and follow The Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today.
Hey, this is Ray Powers. And if there's one thing you can count on in these unpredictable times, it's that you're in good hands getting some great radio, courtesy of The Mike Wagner Show.
We're back with author, novelist, public speaker, and professional corporate writer Denise Turney here on The Mike Wagner Show, and also check her website at chistell.com. That's CHISTELL.com. She's also the editor of Book Lovers Haven and host of the literary radio show Off the Shelf Books Talk Radio. You can find that all over the platforms. And you also got quite a number of books out as well, too. We already talked about Rosetta, the Talent Show Queen. If you want to talk more about that, that's fine. Otherwise, you also written Portia, Long Walk Up, Spiral, Love Has Many Faces, Rosetta's Great Hope, and more. And, just pick and choose. Tell us about a few of your amazing books.
Thank you again. A Long Walk Up is right now my top seller, and as much as I love all my books, I'm hoping that Rosetta, the Talent Show Queen, takes over that top spot, being that it's a new release for me. But Long Walk Up came out in 2011, and that story came to me in a way no other story has to date. I was living up in the Northeast at the time in Pennsylvania, and I was driving on my way to work in Princeton, New Jersey, and out of the blue, going down Route 1, for those who live in that area, they know Route 1, going up towards Princeton, it just came through to me to write this story about a little girl, and she had this incredibly difficult beginning. Her childhood was like unbelievably hard, but this glorious, glorious ending. And,
amazing.
And I was told to keep the story short. I was told she had to have this really hard beginning, but this phenomenal ending to her life. So I start out. She's a young Mulligan is the star of Long Walk Up. It's a fictional story, but she starts out, she's orphaned, and she's living in Africa when her father passes and her mom, and it's just like the way it is in the world. You know, the world is ups and downs. When they first moved to this village, everything's flourishing. There's just plenty. And I watched a show on the History Channel called Alone. I don't know if you like being out in nature, but the people who do, and they say this: when you go to an area, you can tell if like the area, the land, no people, just you and wildlife and the nature, if it really is receiving you, because you just catch fish, and things will just come. You'll have enough. You'll always have enough. And then they say you can tell when the land is like, nah, you need to move on, because it's like everything dries up. So in this part, when they move into this village, this area, it's all natural. Everything's flourishing. Oh, it's just flourishing. It's like it's just never going to end. It's like the fountain will never turn off, and then it starts to dry up. But they've gotten accustomed to living in this area. As we do in our lives, we get accustomed to it, and you don't want to change. And you see it's shifting. It's shifting. It's time for you to do something different. You got to pivot. And so Rosetta's, her father, her mother, and the leader is kind of mean to Rosetta, and she's only 6 years old, but she's got this confidence, this courage in her. And I actually saw a real-life show about two kids who were orphaned, and they were like, I want to say 5 and 7 or 8.
Wow.
And they would get like these tin cans, cash them in, sleep on cardboard boxes, but they made it from day to day, and they had enough courage and confidence to do that. And sometimes as adults we don't. But anyway, Mulligan, she decides to pivot. She's not staying in this area. She's a kid.
Oh my gosh.
She doesn't know anything. She goes up this long hill, and she goes into this village, all these different voices, but she meets a man. He and his wife have taken in orphans, and she stays with him for a while. And then she starts working for a government agency in Africa. But she goes on to become Africa's first woman president. Just from this humble beginnings. But that book is my top seller right now, Long Walk Up. And then Spiral is a murder mystery set in the 1940s, World War II, in Memphis, Tennessee. And really the core, the foundation of that story has to do with what happens when we give in to fear? I'm afraid of my reputation. I don't want nobody to know I did that. I don't want nobody to know I'm connected. And then everybody in the town has a fear, and they all hide. I don't want nobody. And what happens? What do we allow to happen when we always are just looking out for ourselves and hiding things? But Spiral is a murder mystery, and there are little kids some being kidnapped, and one of the girls has an ability to, it's kind of like the Lovely Bones. Seeing that she can speak. She has a gift. Her and her brother, and she knows who did it. She knows who did it. So that's a Spiral for people who really like there's a detective in there, a thriller, a good mystery, and then Love for Over Me. That's a more recent book that I wrote. Women love Raymond. Now his mom left when he was 2 years old because his father has untreated alcoholism. I didn't grow up with an alcoholic in my family, but I know of people who have, and it just can be absolutely brutal. But so she's had enough, and she left, and she didn't take little Raymond with her. So his father raises him by himself. So even though he has this sickness, he doesn't abandon his son. Readers do not like the father, though. They have called him so many cuss words.
Oh, my gosh. I guess Father Knows Best takes on a different meaning here. So, oh, my gosh.
Well, yeah, he has not only alcohol, he's not getting, he doesn't even know he has it. He probably wouldn't accept it if you told him, and he's not getting any treatment for it. So anyway, but Raymond is academically and athletically very gifted. He is just a very good-hearted, loving guy. But he's been injured. And if you got a scar, you got a scar. If you got a wound, you have a wound. So when he goes away to college, he meets a woman who really he is really meant to spend his life with. But is he so wounded that he can't let her in? And then when he first gets to college, his first night there, he witnesses something which is a murder mystery in the story. He has nothing to do with it, but he meets these four friends, and these guys are friends their whole life. One goes on to do well in the NFL. Raymond's on his way to the Olympics. One of the guys is from Italy. They're just from all over different cultures, and they just built this bond. But one of them it starts to show he has some involvement in this murder, and you have to wonder, would you tell on your friend, would you, or would you keep it a secret? And how involved in it is his friend? Now Raymond witnesses this when he first gets to college before he meets his friend, and then later as things unfold, you're like, wait a minute. So it's a love story. And there's a mystery in there as well, and that's love to read.
Wow, that is so amazing. And in terms of mysteries, yes, the butler did it. So, oh my gosh! I mean, you guys just got a great list of books here, and also, what do you have coming up for us in terms of books and everything else? What can we expect in 2021 and beyond for us, Denise?
Well, I'm actually working on a story, and I saw a movie that bothered me last night. But this story, the idea for this story I got from a TV show that I watched, and it's about, and a lot of people don't realize how bad this is, that sex slave trafficking is just horrific.
Oh, my gosh.
I heard it's like a $32 billion a year industry. It's just, it's disgustingly, horrifically bad. But this novel I'm working on, Running Toward Freedom, is based on that. And then there'll be more Rosettas coming. And then I have another novel I'm working on set in Chicago, again in the 1940s. And the working title is Goddess Glory. So I'm doing more writing than I have in a while. And I think the COVID, because when COVID first came out and everybody go home, and you can't hardly travel like you used to, I said, I just shouldn't wait this out, because I'm telling you, I thought we would be back to normal in 2 weeks. I never thought that this would be going on for like a year, not in 100 million years. So I'm glad I didn't just sit back and say, let me wait till COVID blows over, then I'll get back at it. I'm glad I just told myself, I better really, really dig in now, because once this is over, and I've heard some people say we're never going back to the normal we used to have. Mm-hmm. But once it shifts, I think the people who, like you're keeping your show going, I think the people who didn't just stop, but they either pivoted or they kept going, they might come out a little bit of a front runner once this is over.
Mm-hmm. And of course, I thought of this too. We talked about the human sex trafficking issue, which has been very problematic, not just in the States, but all over the world. And also some other things have been going on as well. And with a lot of the books that you have out there, like Portia, Long Walk Up, Rosetta's Great Hope, and also the Rosetta, the Talent Show Queen, a lot of these seem to have a theme to it. And what do you want your readers to come out of it after reading these books?
Well, the Rosetta's 10 years old, so hers for the reader, which would be a young reader, just to come away like I did with Pippi Longstocking, to fall in love with Rosetta, to just want to see what she's going to do next, and to just connect with the story to more of an entertaining aspect. One of the things, though, that is in this launch story of Rosetta is she is an arch nemesis, and they're very competitive with each other. So starting to looking at self-esteem and some self-confidence. And then some of my other stories, again, like with Spiral, not being led by fear or guilt or any of the other emotions or things that are rooted in fear. Because you can't live free. You won't be free if you're fearful. You will feel bound. You can feel it in yourself. And then when you get over something and you're no longer afraid, you can feel something and you break loose, and now you're free. Long Walk Up is a book of motivation, encouragement, inspiration. You look at this young girl's story. There are people like Little Mulligan in the world. They call them street children. And you see what comes of her because she just perseveres. And things happen in her life that she couldn't plan or foresee. But like when one of the leaders of the country she's working for gets sick, and he tells her, you got to fill in, you got to give the speech, and she's afraid, but she has enough courage, enough confidence, and perseverance to get through hard patches. Again, I keep using this word pivot. You got to know when to pivot.
Exactly.
Like
yes. Yes.
So you can stay here and hope it's the way it used to be, but the way it used to be is gone forever. So you better pivot if you want to keep going. Your strength's coming from in you. So that's the message from Long Walk Up. And then Love Pour Over Me message. Just don't ever throw in the towel on love, even when it looks like you should, or like this is never going to turn out right for me. Do you know how my life started? Somebody could say. You know how traumatic my start was, whether it's Mulligan or Raymond, and hopefully you read these stories and the way I've written them, and it's realistic writing that you can maybe start to believe, you know what, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can, and you persevere until you see something start to shift and change in your favor.
Mm-hmm. And that's very amazing, too. And once again, where can we find your books at?
You can find my books. They're on my website. It's in print. You can get an autographed copy on my website. I try to make sure that the price on my website is the lowest you're going to find. I know one thing you'll find on my website you probably won't find anywhere else is I pick up the cost on the shipping and handling, so that's not passed along to you, and the taxes. But that's Chistell, chistell.com, and with the ebooks and Kobo and Barnes & Noble, Nook, and Google Books, all of that, Apple Books, all of that's there at my website as well. Or you can go to Amazon or Barnes & Noble, etc. They're all in ebook and in print format. But again, my website is Chistell, chistell.com.
That is so amazing. Once again, we're with a novelist, public speaker, professional corporate writer, and author Denise Turney here on the Mike Wagner Show. Denise, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing. Looking forward to having you again soon. Just keep us up to date. And a couple of things here. Denise, you've been absolutely fantastic. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
Oh, the biggest influence in my career. I'm going to say all the authors who I look up to, the masterful authors who I think I'll never write like them. Thank you for your sharing your stories and your gifts. Those probably, as a writer, are the most influential.
Mm-hmm. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
This is something I recently learned from a guest on Off the Shelf. Forbes Riley wrote a book called Fix Yourself or Fix Your Life. Number one thing, and it really had a big change on me, he said, get your brain off of autopilot. He's been more than 30 years as a psychotherapist. He said, we need to stay clear to get enough data in, to see enough data to make wise decisions. And he said, a lot of us are on autopilot, whether it's with COVID or not. Change some routines. Do things at a different time. If you got a guest bathroom, start brushing your teeth in your guest bathroom instead of your ensuite, or you're washing your face, or watch different shows on TV. Maybe take a whole day and don't watch any television. Change your routines. It helps to get your brain off of autopilot. And that is the last great bit of advice, because I've done it and seen the results, that I would leave.
You know something? That reminds me. I would go to my instruction manual. I'm about to figure out how to turn off my autopilot. So I'll do that right afterwards. And once again, author Denise Turney here on the Mike Wagner Show. Denise, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Just keep us up to date. Love you back on in 2021 and beyond. And once again, tell us about your upcoming projects. What's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or check out your books? And also, where can people check out Off the Shelf Books, Talk Radio?
Off the Shelf, you can do either search Denise Turney, Off the Shelf. You can find also the Book Lovers Haven Off the Shelf, any of my books at my website, Chistell, chistell.com. And if you love literature, I really do encourage you. You can subscribe to the Book Lovers Haven. It's free. You'll hear from me maybe once a month. No more than that. I don't clog up your email. And then if it's a holiday, you may hear from me twice a month. But again, the website is Chistell, chstellpublishing.com. And thank you. I really enjoyed being on the Mike Wagner Show.
And thank you as well, Denise. Looking forward to having you again soon. Just keep us up to date. Love you back on in 2021 and beyond. And don't forget to keep in touch. And don't forget to bring Rosetta with you. I'd love to have her as a co-guest with you.
Okay.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real-life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamoshenzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, Custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartradio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.